Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers lose Alex Highsmith and two others to injury, but key starter could return. Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin addressed the media on Tuesday, September 24, as he typically does most weeks. This time around, the list of injury updates was long ahead of Week 4. From a health standpoint, I'll hit on a few things, Tomlin began. Revealing that tight end MyCole Pruitt, knee, cornerback Corey Trice Jr., hamstring, and outside linebacker Alex Highsmith, groin, all look to be out, or in other words, unavailable, against the Indianapolis Colts this weekend. On the latter, ESPN NFL insider Jeremy Fowler also reported that the Steelers are bracing for edge rusher Alex Highsmith to miss multiple weeks with his groin injury, per source, but it's not considered major and he will avoid surgery. Expect second-year edge rusher Nick Herbig to start in Highsmith's place, but the depth is now limited behind T.J. Watt and his 22-year-old understudy. Aside from those three, Tomlin also relayed that running back Jaylen Warren's Week 4 participation is in question as he battles a knee injury. On a more positive note, running back Najee Harris won't have any limitations after walking around team facilities with his arm in a sling on September 23, per Tomlin and ESPN beat reporter Brooke Pryor. There was also an encouraging update on starting guard Isaac Seumalo, pectoral. Isaac is working his way back on the offensive line, Tomlin said. We'll see what his participation looks like this week and let the quality and the amount of that participation be our guide. The Steelers head coach did not rule Seumalo out for Week 4, but did confirm that backup OL Spencer Anderson and Mason McCormick will both continue to get reps at left and right guard throughout practice. The door is now open for Seumalo to make his return against the Colts. As for the question of the Steelers starting quarterback, both in Week 4 and long-term, Tomlin didn't provide much in terms of new information. Still very much in the same place with Russell Wilson, this week, Tomlin told reporters on September 24. He went on to explain that Wilson is still considered limited despite a good workout on Tuesday. I'm not expecting him to be a full participant tomorrow, the Pittsburgh HC added, regarding Wilson. He also voiced that he wants Justin Fields to be singularly focused on starting in Week 4 once again. As always, Tomlin reiterated that he will not make an official decision on the starting quarterback duties long-term until Wilson is actually healthy. Until then, it'll be Fields under center, but that doesn't mean Fields is guaranteed to start once Wilson returns. Per Tomlin, there is no need to name a starting QB while Wilson is unavailable. As mentioned above, Herbig is the first man up with Highsmith sidelined, but DL/OLB tweener DeMarvin Leal could receive more opportunities too. Leal has been working at both spots anyway, Tomlin said, crediting his positional flexibility. It's not anything new for him, the Steelers head coach continued. And so, really I don't view that as a significant issue in terms of him elevating and getting more opportunity. Tomlin also expressed that he's excited to see what Leal does with this time, just as he was excited to see Herbig in an increased role. He's hard-working and humble and I really think that tees up performance for him, but he also has ridiculous belief in self, Tomlin said of Herbig. Adding that the youngster is a guy that is never scared of the moment. The Pittsburgh Steelers are heading into their Week 4 road matchup against the Indianapolis Colts with several injuries. HC Mike Tomlin provided several injury updates in his Tuesday presser, stating that OLB Alex Highsmith, groin, CB Corey Trice, hamstring, and MyCole Pruitt, knee, are all likely out for Week 4. The team's monitoring several other injuries as well. Those who Tomlin did not rule out include starting LG Isaac Seumalo, pectoral, and Jaylen Warren, knee. He confirmed that Warren's injury is not related to the hamstring injury he suffered during the preseason, stating that he'll likely be limited. On the topic of Russell Wilson and his availability for Week 4, Tomlin gave still very much in the same place with Russ this week as we were last week, at least at the beginning of the week. I just met with him and our head athletic trainer and talked about what tomorrow looks like. Tomorrow is a limited participation day from a scheduling perspective. He had a good workout today. We'll see how he feels in the morning, but I'm not expecting him to be a full participant tomorrow. And so, as we walk in the building tomorrow, I want Justin Fields singularly focused on starting for us and doing what's required to be ready to do that. If his availability or the quality of his practice participation picks up, maybe we'll consider that later in the week. So, while the team is preparing to start Fields, it's interesting to note that Tomlin did not expressly rule out the potential availability of Wilson. Wilson remains listed atop the depth chart as the QB1, Nick Farabaugh of PennLive notes. For the final injury update of the day, Tomlin noted that Najee Harris, who was rocking a sling Monday after Week 3, will be good to go in Week 4. Chargers' Derwin James gets final verdict on suspension appeal. The Los Angeles Chargers are coming off a 20-10 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 3. It was the team's first loss of the 2024 season. However, that is not the only loss the Chargers will suffer, given safety Derwin James' NFL suspension status for Week 4. The NFL decided to suspend James for 1 game for continuously violating the league's rules intended to protect the health and safety of players. One highlighted issue was during Sunday's loss to the Steelers when James initiated helmet-to-helmet contact with tight end Pat Freiermuth during a tackle. James' action resulted in a penalty. James tried to appeal the suspension, and he got a final verdict before the team's next matchup. James' 1-game suspension will be upheld, and he will miss the Chargers' Week 4 matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs, per Ari Meirov of the 33rd team. The NFL takes actions of unnecessary roughness seriously, and their suspension of Derwin James shows that. Surely, James will be more careful in future engagements with offensive players. James entered his 6th year with the Chargers in 2024. The team selected him with their 17th overall pick in the 2018 draft. James comes off a stout year in 2023 where totaled a career-high 125 total tackles. Through 3 games in 2024, he has amassed 21 tackles. Derwin James' suspension is not the only thing Los Angeles has to worry about for Week 4. The Chargers lost the services of Justin Herbert during the Steelers' loss after he suffered an ankle injury. Hebert was brutally honest when speaking about the injury after the game. He said he did his best to fight through the pain, but it was too much for him to stay in and keep playing. Despite the injury, Herbert's status is hopeful for Sunday's Chiefs game, according to Lindsay 30 of ESPN. Will the undermanned Chargers rise above their woes and beat a highly touted Kansas City team in Week 4? Steelers work out former Seahawks Wr. The Steelers brought in wide receiver Jhon Ursua for a workout on Tuesday, per a report by NFL insider Aaron Wilson. Jhon was misspelled as Josh in the report. Ursua may not be a familiar name to Steelers fans, but he is to Pittsburgh quarterback Russell Wilson, who played with Ursua when the two were in Seattle. Back in July, Ursua told BTSC's Mike Nicastro on the Sick podcast Steelers Crazy that his agent had been in contact with the Steelers. Ursua was a 7th-round pick by the Seattle Seahawks in 2019 out of Hawaii. The 5 feet 9 inches, 182-pound receiver ran a 4.58-second 40-yard dash at his pro day, dealing with a hamstring injury. His final season at Hawaii, he recorded 89 catches for 1,343 yards and 17 total touchdowns. He's appeared in 3 career NFL games, with 1 catch for 11 yards. He tore his ACL in the 2021 preseason and has been out of the NFL since. Most recently, Ursua has spent time with the Saskatchewan Roughriders and BC Lions of the CFL. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jhon Ursua? Leave your opinion in the comments.